What's up, YouTube? It's Kenny again. Wanted to make one more video this morning on the AMC Gamestop stuff. I've been watching a lot of things on it this morning and throughout yesterday, and it looks like some of the information that I gave in that other video was either not correct or has changed. It looks like you can trade on TD Ameritrade and Schwab. You can trade AMC and GameStop now. Webull has reopened trading on it, and Robinhood is the only one that I'm seeing that is currently still not allowing you to trade these stocks. Now, I did just see an interview with, I guess it was the CEO of Robinhood or the founder, who said that they're hoping to reopen these stocks for trading this morning. I don't use Robinhood, so if anybody could confirm or deny that once the market opens, I'd appreciate that. Seems like there's been somewhat of a mass exodus away from Robinhood, or at least the threat of a mass exodus away from Robinhood, and to me that's totally understandable. I do think that the reasoning behind why these companies suspended trading of these stocks has more to do with their clearinghouses, the people who process the trades and stuff, than it does with any kind of a philosophical thing with their particular company. That something about, I don't fully understand it, but something about, because of the sheer volume and the prices and the 2-day hold, they have to deposit or have a certain amount of cash in order to cover those for those 2 days, and that because of the volume and the pricing, that was just such an exorbitant amount of money that they couldn't meet the regulatory requirements of them having to have that much cash on hand. If you think about, like, a casino has to have enough money on hand to cover all of the things that happen in there. They have to have enough cash on hand for that. And it's kind of similar with these brokerages. They have to have the cash available to front all this cash back and forth until these things settle. And so that seems to be the main reason why a lot of this stuff has happened. At least that's the reason that's being given. Now, is that necessarily true? I don't know. What I think is interesting is that now the government is starting to get involved. I mean, politicians are really starting to look at this, and especially on the Democratic side, but both sides of the aisle are kind of in agreement that, hey, this is bullshit. These hedge funds are able to buy and sell as much as they want, but regular people can't. That doesn't make any sense. And I said that at the beginning, it don't make no fucking sense, okay? I don't care that the clearinghouses are raising rates on it, and I don't care that they have to have a certain amount of money or whatever. The fact of the matter is that somebody has the money in their account to buy that $300 share, and somebody has to cover that. Whoever sold that share has the money in their account to sell that share. And it don't matter that there's a 2-day window. The money is being exchanged digitally, whether there's a 2-day waiting period or not. Okay, it doesn't make any sense to me. And I think it doesn't make any sense to a lot of people. If I have $1,000 in my account and I spend that $1,000, what, you think I'm not going to pay that? You see right there, it's already in my account. You see it's there. You're the one that has control of it. You've locked it up now that I've spent it. So what's the difference? You know what I mean? It doesn't make any fucking sense to me. It's just all on paper, math, digital shit. It's just, in my opinion, it's a way for the establishment to try to block the power of retail investors. And I don't care how you couch it or how you put it down on paper or what rules you cite. It's irrelevant, okay? If in this day and age, it's not like it was, 30 years ago where you wrote a check and then that could be a fake check or a real check, but you know, it's not like that today. This is digital. This stuff is instant. There's no reason for them to squabble about who's got enough money for what. You know, it's all digital. They know exactly who's got money. Just because it takes 3 or 4 days for them to physically send the digital currency over to them so that your funds settle or whatever like that, it's still instant. They still know that that money is coming. And, you know, it's why banks give you your direct deposit before the money clears and whatnot, because it's all digital. They know the money is there, and it doesn't make any fucking sense to restrict people over these little, you know, they're basically just bullshit rules. You know what I mean? Like, fuck a rule. You know what I mean? This is it's an unprecedented situation, but they're just doing everything they can to try to block people. And like I said, Robinhood said they're going to try to open it again this morning. So y'all let me know if they do or they don't. Another thing I wanted to talk about, I want to go back to the power of retail investors and what I've been talking about for quite some time with, you know, there being a shift that has been occurring in the way the stock market works because of all these retail investors flooding in. Okay. So now it should be obvious to anyone now that retail investors have a lot of power that they did not have in the past. What I think is going to be interesting to see, okay, because now this has turned into a political thing, and all of these politicians, and there's just everybody's talking about it, even people who don't trade stocks. It's all over the news and all that kind of stuff. So what I'm interested to see now is that, because there's been a lot of people who flooded into this just for that. They've like opened accounts and stuff just to buy some AMC, just to buy some GameStop, to stick it to the man. Okay, it's like a whole, like I said before, like a Occupy Wall Street thing, only through stocks. Okay, and so it's become this whole kind of a movement that's started. And I'm interested to see if these people who have opened these accounts and stuff stick around afterwards and continue to invest in stocks. And if they do, because it's become more widely publicized and a lot of people have jumped into the market just for this, if a lot of those people stick around, okay, it could accelerate this shift that I've been talking about. It could make it happen faster because of all this publicity and all these even more retail investors coming into the market. If they stick around after this is over and continue to invest, then it gives the people, the retail investors, even more power going forward and changes the dynamic of the stock market even more going forward. So it's going to be super interesting. I mean, in this whole situation, obviously, I've said it over and over, is super interesting to me to see how it plays out. And it's going to be really cool to see what happens after this ends. I mean, assuming it ends. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens and how many of these new people who have flooded even more into the markets stick around and continue to trade and continue to add to the power of the retail investor. You know, these stocks went way down, and I saw videos, somebody, it's crashing, here it goes, here we go, it's the crash. And then overnight it's just way back up again. It's not as high, at least AMC is not as high as it was in the post and pre yesterday, but you know, I mean, it's up, what is it, up 47% right now. AMC is up 47% in the pre-market. Let's see where GME is at right now. GME is up 81% in the pre-market. It had fallen 44% yesterday. Now it's up to $3.51 a share. It closed at $1.93. So it's not over, guys. It's continuing, and who knows how long it'll go. It may continue for weeks, or it may crash tomorrow. You know, nobody knows what's going to happen. It's super interesting to me. So what do you think? You know, let me know down in the comments what you think. Is it going to continue for weeks? Is this going to increase the power of retail investors going forward? Is this like beginning of a new era in stock trading, and an era where, you know, the people, the power structure begins to shift more toward people like us? Because, you know, this has been a trend throughout multiple areas of life where, you know, the people start to realize that they have more power than they thought they did in politics and all of this stuff. People rising up, all of these movements, you know, and I'm interested to see what happens in the stock market going forward. I'm kind of hope that retail investors get a lot more power and start really taking this thing over and stick it to these guys. I mean, I think it's super interesting, and I just can't stop watching it. And I apologize that I haven't made my regular type of videos over the last few days, but I'm really just glued to this thing. And I think a lot of people are, you know, to see how it plays out and to see what changes potentially are made going forward after this, because we've got all these politicians, you know, and some of them talking about hearings and potential like investigations about what's happened here. And so we could potentially see legislation down the road, like making it to where these hedge funds can't manipulate the market this way anymore. Will that have negative repercussions for us as well? It could potentially. I really don't know. You know, anything could happen. They could start cracking. They could start cracking down on YouTube channels and all kinds of stuff. Who knows what could happen? But yeah, I mean, what do you think about it? Hit that subscribe button, like the video, and thanks for watching.